Today our topic is genes and addiction. When it comes to addiction, it is very complex, and there has to be many variations of different genes that facilitate someone's overall health, risk, or protection of addiction. Not only are people's health affected by their genes, but also by their environment, which includes all their surroundings. But before we go deeper into this topic, here's more info from Chance.
Hey guys, I first want to talk to you guys about genetics. Genetics is the process in which genes or traits are passed down from the parents to their offsprings. Genes are parts of the DNA that carry information for the body. The genes carry the information and direct the body on its everyday functions. Genes in a person's body can have different types or forms known as variants. The little or subtle changes in the genes can give someone their own distinct traits, kind of like the hair color, eyes, height, kind of all that different stuff. Now, I'm going to direct you back to Andrew so he can define addiction.
Addiction can come in many forms, like substance abuse and drugs, alcohol, and nicotine. You can even be addicted to something like candy or working out, but we're specifically talking about drugs, alcohol, and nicotine addiction. To be addicted to something, it means that you're dependent on it. About 1 in 7 people have an addiction issue. Researchers say that addiction is about halfly based on your genetics. People get addicted by having a previous hereditary addictive gene, and then they are exposed to an ill environment. Back to Chance.
Now that we talked about addiction, let me tell you what people are getting addicted to. There are tons of drugs out there that people are getting addicted to, like heroin, crystal meth, or even nicotine from cigarettes. But we want to dive deeper into cocaine. Cocaine comes from a plant, and its pure form is cocaine hydrochloride. It used to be used as medicine or even a pain reliever, but doctors and researchers found out that it was too addictive and it changes the brain's structure and its function. Cocaine also affects a person's awareness, energy, and attention. Cocaine is able to be addictive by working on the limbic system of the brain. The limbic system is the region that controls motivation or drive and pleasure. One effect that the drug has is that it builds up a large quantity of dopamine, and dopamine is basically a neurotransmitter that your body makes and the nervous system utilizes. And now what it does is it makes a whole bunch of dopamine in your brain, and basically what that does is it causes you to have a whole bunch of pleasure, or so you have a big spike in like happiness, and what people call this is the high. And this is bad because people end up chasing that high, trying to like reach that first high again, and next thing you know, they're addicted. And there's a lot of effects of cocaine too. And some of the effects of cocaine are headaches, heart attacks, heart diseases, lung cancer, people become moody. And there's actually other ones too that come with the form and way that you take the drug, but we don't have to get into that. But now, I'd like to go back to Andrew. Okay, where's Andrew at?
He's not here. It's
LeBron James.
Oh, Chance, thanks for having me on the show. You know, I'm usually used to ESPN, but it's an honor to be a part of the DC News. They're telling me to say something for you, so I got you. Now that you know how drugs work, you can see how drugs and genes are connected. As stated before, different forms of genes can affect a person and lead them to addiction. The A1 form of dopamine receptors gene, DRD2, is more common in people addicted to alcohol, cocaine, and opioids. The variation likely affects how drug influence the reward pathway. This shows that a different form of a gene affects how people, as drugs affect everyone differently. This is not because some people are more tough or are better. It is simply because some people's genes are different, and it has caused them to have different experience. And where do these genes come from?
They're passed down from your parents. Now, LeBron, were your parents able to dunk too?
You know what, Chance? My mom's the one that taught me how to dunk, and she can still dunk to this day.
Alright, thanks LeBron for that. But you know what? I like my boy Andrew back. Now back to the topic. It's not just cocaine. There are other genes that are addicted to other things like alcohol. For example, the gene OPRM1 changes the amount of proteins made in the body. Certain variations are more common in people with opioid use disorders. Others increase the risk for alcohol dependence. Another example is with nicotine. An instance where nicotine is addictive is with the gene CHRNA5. Now, people with 2 copies of a certain gene, the CRNA5, are twice as likely to become nicotine dependent compared to people with like a different gene multiple. Now, this gene causes people to sense nicotine more. So basically what happens is their body senses the gene and it realizes that the presence of nicotine is in the body and recognizes it more, allowing you to feel more of the nicotine, more of the nicotine high, or that lightheadedness that people feel. So then people like that feeling and they get addicted to it. And then they just continue to desire that feeling, and that, just like any other drug. Now, Andrew, back to you.
As we come to an end of our topic of genes on addiction, genes are a part of one's DNA that carry information which tells how the body should perform its basic functions. Addiction is when someone starts to rely on something and then depends on it since their body has adapted to it so much. Genes play a very significant role in addiction, as you can see. The genes are passed down from their parents to their kids, and some genes have different forms which can be more susceptible to addiction. Genetics account for more than 50% of the risk of addiction. The other portion is from history and that person's environment. Addiction affects millions of people around the world, and since it is not only caused by choice and environment, but by genetics as well, maybe doctors someday can find a way to help prevent addiction on a genetic level. Thanks for tuning in on DC News. Chance?
Thanks for that, Andrew. Stay classy, San Diego.